888-589-8840. Bringing into our microphones today, you're going to love this show, and I'm going to tell you what, find something to pull over side of the road or get to a good place, listen wherever you are, because you won't want to miss the next hour. Kerry Shook is joining us today, as well as his wife, Chris, and they are the authors of the New York Times bestseller, 1 Month to Live, also the founders of Woodlands Church in the Woodlands, Texas, one of the largest churches in America. And like me, many of you may watch Kerry on television. He's a worldwide television ministry that broadcasts to local, national, international audiences. They can be seen and are each week by millions of people, 50 states, 200 countries worldwide. You can always check out Kerry Shook, S-H-O-O-K, kerryshook.org. That's an extension of their broadcast, and we'll talk more about that. By the way, Kerry and Chris have been married for 28 years and have 4 children. And today on the broadcast, again, 1 month to live, and the Shooks are with us today on the line, Tim, and we're excited about this hour.
Well, Kerry and Chris, thanks for stopping by, man. We're just so delighted you guys are going to be a part of Turn It Around. And, Jim, our topic today is 1 month to love.
Did I say live?
You said love. You said live. It's love.
Well, if you're going to live, you got to love, and if you're going to love, you got to live. Kerry, did I bail myself out there? I know I'm looking right at it.
You did great, Jim. It's great to be with you, Tim, as well. Yeah, our book, 1 month, you were right. You were both right. In fact, our first book was 1 Month to Live, and it was all about living your life as if you only had 30 days left and making the most of it. And now we've come out with a book, 1 Month to Love, which is sort of an addendum to that, because we found that people, when they really sought to live as if they only had 30 days left, it really came down to relationships, our relationship to God and our relationships to the people closest to us. So this new paperback that we've just put out, that comes out today, in fact, is all about practical ways to deepen your closest relationships.
Yeah, and Chris, we want to welcome you to Turn It Around, too. Thanks for joining in with Kerry here.
Well, thanks. We're really excited about talking to you about this topic that's important to all of us.
Hey, as we get started, we all know that in the end, all that really matters is who you loved and who loved you, and life is all about relationships. Kerry, let me toss it back to you, I guess, first, and just say it seems like everything in today's world is competing for our affection for each other, our marriages, our parent-child relationships, our extended family members, even our relationship with God. And the pace, the pressure, the pain of modern-day life, again, it's like killing us. And what's happening to us, and why are so many people wrestling with love?
Well, we are more technologically connected as a society than we've ever been at any time in history. But as you guys know, we're more disconnected from deep and rich and close relationships. And you can have 1,000 Facebook friends, but not one friend you can sit down with face-to-face and really share your heart. And so in our book, we really help people do what we call a Facebook fast. Now, we're not bashing Facebook. We use Facebook, Twitter, email, internet to get the Word of God out in our church. But we've just found that if you just start limiting that a little bit, we recommend 1 day a week for 4 weeks, that you just turn off all social media, that you don't even do email except for what you need to do at work, no internet, and take that time to do some traditional things that we used to do, like meet face-to-face for coffee with one of your Facebook friends and really talk, or write a handwritten note to someone who's really meant a lot to you in your life, or bring a pie to a neighbor that you've lived next to for 10 years but you've never even met. And so we really believe that rich and rewarding relationships, you can't multitask, you can't build them through technology, even though it's great to have a big network for work, and it's great to have 1,000 Facebook friends, but that's not what you really need when it's all said and done.
It seems, again, though, that something's happening to us. Recently, I sent a text message to someone, and in the text message I said this: if this continues the way it is, and you guys love each other, this was a parent and a child relationship, and I said, if this continues and something happens to your dad, to your mom, I'm telling you, you're going to regret this total cutoff. You're not talking to him, and I know in his mind he thinks he has some just reasons, Kerry, for doing this, but it's been 6 months since he's even made a phone call or attempted anything. Mom and Dad are trying to reach out. They're cut off at the knees, and it's over nothing. You guys, when you were you've done all this ministry, you've got so many people coming to your church. You're pouring yourselves out, and the research for this book. Are you seeing those kind of scenarios? There are a lot of people out there listening. They're in those kind of situations where they've been cut off or they've cut somebody off. The anger has it's overwhelmed them and taken over, and they're just shut down. It's like the old Hatfield and McCoy stuff out of West Virginia. Nobody's talking to anybody anymore. And we're talking about people, Kerry, that love each other or are supposed to love each other.
Oh, definitely. There's so many breakdowns in relationships, and that's one of the reasons for that sort of in-your-face question that Chris and I ask in our books is, if you knew you had 1 month to live, what would you do? And for most people, it comes down to relationships. For a lot of people, it's forgiveness. Because really, when you think that you got 30 days before you go meet God, you want to be right with everyone, especially those closest to you. And we've seen just a real wave of forgiveness through our first book, 1 Month to Live. It just seemed like so many people, when they thought about, hey, if this was the end, I would want to be right with that person. And we just really encourage people this Christmas season, risk awkwardness, because it is a little awkward when you step out to ask forgiveness or seek forgiveness and give forgiveness. It's just, and that's one of the principles of our book, 1 Month to Love, is that breakthroughs in relationships don't happen naturally. We think we naturally know the things to do, but that's not the case. They happen supernaturally with God's power, and you feel awkward. You have to do some things you don't want to do, that you don't feel like doing. But if you don't, you'll have huge regrets at the end of your life. And we've been with a lot of people at the end of their lives, and their regrets are always relationship regrets.
Well, let me give our number here today, and I tell you what, you'll want to join us with the discussion today, and it is 1 Month to Love. Kerry and Chris Shook with us, and it's 888-589-8840. You think of those distractions at times of social media, television, things, the busyness of life. We're not connected. We don't even know really where our spouse is, kind of deep in his or her heart, some of the longings, dreams, some of the real-life struggles that are going on, some of the things they're just carrying inside that, sometimes people get into counseling, maybe their therapist and a good friend knows, and you as a spouse, you don't even know where they are. Sometimes they might even go to a therapy appointment or something. You come home, you don't even say, you want to talk about that? You're like, what's going on? How are you doing? Or someone says, I've had a hard day, and people, well, we've just kind of lost the art of curiosity in marriage, just to be curious. Think of the Word of God saying, David said, I look to my left, I look to my right, and there's no one who cares for my soul. Wow, what happens when that happens in marriage? We're going to talk with you about that today, and that is at 888-589-8840. And we're going to go into our break and come back with some of your calls today. We'll take, as we always do, questions or comments today about your marriage. How's your love life? Talk with us about that today. Concerns you have. Today could be a day that you, that husband, that wife, find some good biblical counsel here on the airwaves, some practical help that could really start some things to go in a different direction, a much needed direction. Not just at the first of the year, now, starting now. One of the great gifts that we give, people are out buying presents. Imagine giving your spouse and your family, but your spouse, the gift of your presence, being present with them, really there and in tune. You need help with that? Let's talk. 888-589-8840. Our host is Dr. Tim Clinton, and our special guest authors, Pastors Kerry and Chris Shook. I'm Jim Kress. Turn It Around Radio continues in just a moment here on AFR Talk.